Hello and welcome back. Behind this button we'll take a look at some great hiking opportunities in Wrangell St. Elias National Park. This show will be more detailed, so if you haven't clicked on our big picture button for an overview of the park, you might want to do that first. We'll begin by describing a number of beautiful areas which offer airplane access. All are great for day trips or base camping. Later in this section we'll talk about some of the great backcountry travel routes between airstrips. If you ask one of our pilots where they're off to on any given flight, the answer is likely to be the Chugach or the Wrangells. The Chitna River divides the park that way, so that's the way we'll present it here. Let's look at some Chugach or southern destinations first. Bremner Mine is an historic abandoned mine located in a high valley of the central Chugach. The day hiking here is spectacular and varied since its elevation puts it above the brush, making tundra rambling unlimited and very scenic. Within a couple of miles of the airstrip are a number of well-preserved mine buildings and associated equipment. Wandering while reflecting on the isolation of the spot and what life here must have been like is a great way to spend a day or several. Iceberg Lake gives the feeling of being much higher in the mountains than it actually is. Incredibly isolated, near the junction of several major glaciers and within view of the Bagley ice field, the immediate beauty hits home as the plane departs, leaving the visitor in absolute silence looking up at the hanging glaciers above and a glacial lake below. Depending on the time of your visit, the lake may have performed its occasional draining disappearance beneath its glacial dam, leaving a huge bowl of beached icebergs to wander among. Travel here is unlimited in all directions since the altitude and local climate leave only low alpine tundra vegetation, even in the broad valley bottoms. Alley's Valley lies between Iceberg and Bremner at the head of an almost mystically hidden and rarely explored classic Chugach Valley. Deep, lush valley walls cradle perfect campsites near the short airstrip toward the valley's top. Steamboat Hills provides wonderful rolling terrain that's great for mellow wandering. Lots of small lakes and great sheep habitat abound along these northern ridges of the Chugach, bordering the edge of the immense Chitna River Valley. T-Bay Lakes. Toward the western end of the park, near where the Chugach are bisected by the Copper River, is a steep glacially scoured valley holding an almost 10-mile-long chain of lakes. Our landing strip is at the top of the highest lake and is a great place to ramble, fish for beautiful trout, or paddle if you thought to bring your inflatable kayak. Crossing the Chitna River to our Wrangell St. Elias mountain destinations further north in the park, we find many more great getaways. We'll mention a few of our favorites, but explore the website or call the office for more suggestions. Skolai Creek has such a varied and beautiful neighborhood we could ramble on for hours. The Flight Inn sets you up for all your options as you survey the expansive Skolai Creek Valley, all the way up to its source at iceberg-filled Skolai Lake, itself a remnant of the terminus of the Russell Glacier. And oh yeah, the Russell itself is about 25 miles long, beginning at 16,400-foot Mount Bona, the first major peak of the St. Elias Mountains. Behind the airstrip, the Valley of the Seven Sisters, 7 hanging glaciers surrounding massive basalt Mount Baldwin, leads around a sweeping bend in the valley to Hole-in-the-Wall Glacier. Doubtful Creek. Depending on which route your pilot took into Skolai, you may have passed over Doubtful Creek on the shores of Nazina Lake, another iceberg-filled lake formed by a large terminal moraine. Doubtful is the starting point for hikes headed into the high country, but it's also a great spot to watch and listen for giant iceberg activity as they split, shed, and occasionally even flip over in the 2-mile-long lake. The Foss. Just a quick hop from McCarthy, you step out of the plane into another world. Located between the huge lateral moraine of the Kennecott Glacier and the towering valley walls, the Foss offers great access and views of the glacier itself, as well as access to Hidden Lake Valley, source of the mysterious annual Hidden Lake outburst flood. Wrangell Plateau. On the southern flank of the last active volcano in the region, the airstrip here sits on the edge of a broad plateau above a very steep and impressive drop into the long glacier valley. A number of beautiful ponds are scattered along the plateau as well, reflecting the dominant presence of 14,000-foot Mount Wrangell's 5-mile-long summit ridge. Limitless great camping spots make for great base camping. So, there's quite an array of outstandingly well-located airstrips in the park, but let's not forget that the vast majority of country to explore lies between landing areas. If you're considering backpacking, it'll be up to you to cover the distance between your drop-off and pickup points. But we can suggest lots of great routes to consider. Let's get a taste of hikes, ranging from the easiest to the most strenuous. Since, for the most part, the true wilderness of the Wrangell St. Elias offers routes rather than established trails, several challenges come into play. Most notably, route finding difficulties, major stream crossings, and glacier travel. Hikes which are classified as easy generally avoid these issues. For example, we mentioned Steamboat Hills in the Chugach Mountains as a base camp destination, but it offers great rolling country and easy travel for longer explorations too. On the northern edges of the park, the terrain also is more rounded and forgiving. Two great easy hikes begin or end in the old mining settlement of Shoshana. The Beaver Creek Trail traverses the Nutsoten Mountains to the Horsfell Landing Strip. Almost exclusively in the high tundra country, this 20-mile route offers great vistas and good chances to watch for grizzly, caribou, wolves, Dall sheep, and a variety of birds, including golden eagles. South of Shoshana is the occasionally indistinct but easily traveled 27-mile trail to Solo Creek. Part of a historic route which led from McCarthy to Shoshana's 1913 gold fields, this trip does involve some stream crossings. But caribou frequent the rolling green country as well as grizzlies, wolverine, wolves, and many interesting ground nesting birds such as the quivering snipe. A public use cabin is available along the trail and in Shoshana. Larger stream crossings begin to factor into our moderate hiking routes and should never be taken lightly. Swift, cold water, often clouded by the glacial silt which obscures the slippery, rocky bottoms of many of Alaska's rivers, makes crossings tricky. Once again, either the services of a guide or the many courses available in backcountry travel can be a big help for those with less experience. Season, weather, and even the time of day can make a big difference in streams' personalities. But of course, taking on a little bigger challenge gets you into even bigger and more rewarding country. Moderate hikes may include some steep scree scrambling too. An excellent example of this is the extraordinary trip from Skolai to the Wolverine Landing Strip. Chittistone Pass provides amazing views of the Russell Glacier terminus and Skolai Lake, and is the entrance to the Goat Trail, a high and exposed route above the upper Chittistone River. However, the occasionally very tricky river crossings of the lower Chittistone are avoided by a high and very scenic traverse leading to Wolverine at 5,000 feet. Good chances for sightings of goats, Dall sheep, grizzlies, and caribou abound, as do excellent vistas of the easternmost peaks of the St. Elias Range, Mount Bona, and Mount Churchill. Another great example of a moderate route lies further east in the Wrangells, the 28-mile Castle Peak Traverse. We'll drop you at Hidden Creek, from where the route follows the Hidden Creek Valley up to a high pass, then descends past two beautiful alpine lakes. From here, the route drops into the Lackinaw Valley, following the toe of the Lackinaw Glacier, and continues along the base of Castle Peak. A steep climb takes you to a high pass at 6,000 feet. On a clear day, Mount St. Elias and Mount Logan loom behind the countless unnamed peaks standing before them. A traverse following the tracks of Dall sheep along the high ridges leads to the final destination at Kuskalana Pass. From the open alpine country of this pass, enjoy opportunities for viewing black and grizzly bears, Dall sheep, wolves, foxes, and both bald and golden eagles. Moose are frequently seen in the wet tundra far below. A slightly more strenuous but still moderate hike in the Chugach covers the 20 miles between Alley's Valley and the Bremner Mine. You'll be traveling through inviting green valleys and across rocky, barren, high passes. A wide variety of terrain awaits the adventurous trekker on this trip, which concludes in the historic Bremner gold mining district, worth a day or two of exploration as well. Glacier crossings are the final great challenge of travels in our neighborhood, and are likely to be involved in the routes described in our website as strenuous or extreme, along with route findings through immense alpine surroundings and the related river crossings. One note on the icy crossings included in these routes, however, is that travel tends to be on the lower ends or even terminal moraine areas of extremely long glaciers. As a result, many crevasses have resealed, and those which remain open are not hidden or bridged by seasonal snow, as is the case in a mountaineering situation at higher elevations. So what you see is what you get, which is strikingly beautiful and often forces a roundabout route, but offers far less risk of crevasse fall. The classic example of a long, strenuous route in the Wrangell St. Elias is the Southern Park Traverse. Running right down, through, and at times over the spine of the Chugach Range, it actually offers several strenuous sections which can be, but very rarely are, combined into a single epic journey of about 90 miles. Several beautiful areas with landing strips are passed en route after starting at Granite Creek near the Tana Glacier, itself a lobe of the Bagley Icefield. Iceberg Lake and Bremner Mine both offer opportunities for resupply or flyout, as well as being commendable destinations on their own. Your arrival and pickup at T-Bay Lakes, however, marks the end of a truly significant wilderness achievement. Of course, it's not necessary to traverse the entire park to experience the astonishing wilderness it offers. Whether it be a day trip, base camp, or longer backpacking trip, Wrangell Mountain Air can help you find a great destination that matches your budget and experience level. Explore the website and give us a call if you have any further questions. We look forward to helping you get out there.